rock bottom is rock bottom, man.
So my question is this: can this get worse than what
because
it is?
we've seen rock bottom 3 times now. We saw it against the Saints. We saw it against the Cowboys. We saw it against the Commanders. Yeah. And now we saw it against the Colts. We've seen it 4 or 5 times.
He's right. I've seen it once. I think that you can only define there being one rock bottom, and once you're there, nothing can really be any worse. Losing at home to the Commanders, to me, was the day that you said, oh, this is it. This team absolutely blows, and this is the confirmation. And everything after that is at that point sort of expected.
Well,
you fell apart against the Commanders at home. Oh, losing the Colts, no surprise. Losing to the Giants, that's not a
losing to the Colts wasn't a surprise.
That
absolute egg-you-laid in Germany, 10-6.
Well, the problem was,
I don't think
when
it
you
was.
thought you had rock bottom against the Commanders, we thought, okay, it can't get any worse. You can't make the same critical, horrendous mistakes, and they did. This is why I think they thought we could play Mac Jones because it can't get any worse, and it did. He got worse in 2 weeks, week to week, to where he got pulled in both games. One with 4 points down with 2 minutes left, yanked.
And I guess I'm only pushing back against
this. Yanked at halftime the next week after a bye.
That the Giants
it got worse.
That the Giants game is some new low?
No, you come off.
I expected that to happen.
No, you didn't. They played Danny DeVito. They came off the bye.
What did I tell you a week ago? I don't think they're going to win another game.
I know that. I know you said that, but in all reality.
So I had them losing the game.
Bill Belichick
I had them losing every game.
Okay.
Bill Belichick team coming off a bye should have been better than what it was.
So this all references Curran's column, which I think is great, and about what the bottom is. But having said that, Beetle, you lose a game like you did at home to the Commanders, and then your response is what? Well, going on the bye week, getting things ready, you obviously need to do something different at quarterback, all this stuff, and you go up against a rookie quarterback who probably will not I don't know. Is he going to have a job in next year in the
Probably
NFL?
Not.
Probably not. And
probably done enough to be a backup, but.
And you lose to that team off the bye to that quarterback. I'm not saying that it's necessarily any lower, but if there's no rebound whatsoever and you can't at least score some points or, far be it, get an actual win, yeah, I think that's lower. Every time you lose another game to an inferior opponent or an opponent that you view as inferior going in, yes, you go lower. And as Curran said, it will take hindsight to look back on this season to find, to identify maybe the low point. If you end up losing, to the Bills, or you end up losing to a good team, they have a handful of good teams that they have to play here down the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be lower, but right now that was it. That was it.
The fact they beat Buffalo at home and how poorly they play against bad teams scares the hell out of you because I think they play up to good teams. When you're a bad team, you play up to good teams because you get excited to play them and you play down to the competition against bad teams, and that's not a good trait.
But even good,
you look at all the good, great Patriot teams of the past, the 12-4 teams, the 14-2 wagons, 15-1. They would bury bad teams 55-10, 45-3. It wouldn't be, we'll squeak it out 17-10. You went 9 quarters without scoring a point on offense. You couldn't score a touchdown here against these bad teams. You got a good offense coordinator. I do believe Billy's a good play caller. The talent is so bad.
Oh, it's so
the
bad.
Quarterback play is so bad.
It's the roster. I think we've been over this, right?
We've been over it.
It's the roster.
But you look at it statistically, they held the ball 10 minutes more than the Giants the other day. They won.
I know.
Look at the third down. They held the team. They held that team to 10 points.
Here's where I'm at.
They held them.
It's all bad. It's all bad. How much worse can this get? I mean, what's going to happen from the next 40 days, right? There's 40 days left in the season. What's going to happen that's going to make this feel any worse than it does already?
Roll Jones out there Sunday.
Nothing is going to make it worse. This is it. It's just bad. It's not going to get any worse.
That's in front of your home fans.
So
it could get worse.
Pick the game or pick the set of games. This is it. It's terrible, and it's terrible, and it can't get worse than this.
And you could take the whole practice thing of competing in practice and looking good. Well, we had a good week. You don't have to hit in practice. You can't simulate blitz pickup in practice. So if you go out there and you win in shells and helmets, good for you. Because you know why? Because you're not afraid to get hit in practice. You're not afraid to make a mistake in practice because when he gets in a game, it's a different Viper speed. And guys are getting their heads taken off like Demario Douglas did. I mean, it's a whole nother step up. So you sit there all week and say, he had a good week. He got the most reps. He won the week in practice. Wow, quarterback 3 years into it, won a week in practice in shells.
I would hope they would.
Yeah, they're in pads one day. You think they hit? You were here at camp. You think they hit in practice this week? You think they hit 12 weeks in?
No, I don't think in week 12 they're
okay
hitting in practice.
So let's pump the brakes on how good people look in practice.
And even if, by the way, I know what people will say is how it gets worse is that players start lashing out publicly. And it just looks worse. It'll just be the optics that are worse. The situation on the field will be exactly the same.
The Mark Daniels stuff with the 2 running backs was startling to me.
Why?
Because they wanted to answer it, then one looked back, talked to the other. Should we say it? All right, say it. Yeah, nothing changed last week.
Okay.
Well, this whole charade was put on.
Does it
with
matter?
all of us? Oh, yeah, I think it does matter.
I don't know that it does because all that stuff...
Because it makes the building look bad.
I know, but all that...
You don't think it makes them look bad? You wouldn't be angry?
That stuff pales in comparison to what you see on the field on Sunday.
I understand
that's all I'm saying.
I understand
That's
that
all.
because you know what that's doing? That's taking a distraction off and putting it on him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's by design. Maybe he wants you to take all the pressure off the team, put it all on him. Yeah, I'll be the a-hole. I don't care.
Like if players start coming out
care.
and saying outlandish things and there's this, sort of outward revolt against everything going on, what does it matter?
That's not going to happen.
Well, what does it matter? It happened in 2009 when the team was bad, right? Sean Springs and Atalis Thomas. That's the closest thing we've ever seen to it here under Bill. And if it happens again, so what? You got a few weeks left in this thing. You've got a month to go. We got 40 days left in this thing, and it's over.
So what
does it matter?
So what should the goal be?
Lose games.